Rifkin, Sirius XM. Of course, me and Lady Shells is in here.
Oh, yeah.
Swag is in here with our very special guest, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Steve Rifkin. Loud Records. What up, Steve?
What up, Ed?
How you doing, sir?
I'm good.
Steve Rifkin and I have known each other for quite some time, but a lot of my audience don't know the story of Loud Records. What were you doing before Loud Records?
I was working for my dad, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
What did your dad do?
My dad put out the first rap record.
Wait a minute. Was it King Tim III?
Yeah.
Your father put out the Fatback Band King Tim III personality jock record? Yeah. That's some history right there. See, a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people attribute Sugar Hill, but it wasn't. I remember I bought the King Tim. What was that? Spring
Records.
Spring Records. Yes, green and white label.
Exactly.
Yeah, I went to the store and bought that record. So you were already involved in the music business.
Yeah, I just graduated high school and I didn't know how to read or write till I was 14 years old. So I got in a little bit of trouble, and he says, "I'm sending you on the road." And the first record he gave me to go on the road was with King Tim III.
Wow! So he sent you on the road to get the record played at radio stations?
Yeah. So I was not even 18. I was 17, visiting people my age now.
Right.
And I just found myself going back to the colleges. So and that's why I ended up even putting the whole street team together.
Right.
So but really nobody knows what my dad did. You know, you were talking. I guess Rifkin was here the other day.
Yeah.
And you were talking about B-Fats. The Whopper record was his record.
Wow. Wow. I remember that record too. That record.
Well, you were talking about it the other day.
Yeah. Let's do the wop, 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 wop. So it was a natural transition for you to go from Spring Records to Loud.
Yeah. The truth is, I didn't even want to have a label because I saw the pressure that my dad was going under. I was happy just marketing records because I started the street team, and I was living on the road. I was making nothing, but I thought I was rich. And I ended up going to a park, playing some ball, and ended up going to the colleges, and talking music.
Right.
And I thought I was the happiest. I thought I was the richest kid in the world, and I was the happiest kid in the world.
Right. What was it? Was it a hard transition for you pushing a record like King Tim III? What was the reception like at the radio stations at that time?
Nobody knew what it was. I mean, especially me, because I grew up in Long Island. But with Fatback, they were also the first one to play out a hustle record.
Yeah, that's right.
With the Spanish Hustle. And
that's right.
The first one. Then they did the Bus Stop record.
That's right.
So they were always the first. So I guess radio was new, and then and it didn't hurt that Sugar Hill came right afterwards.
Right. So, and that kind of blew the doors open for it. But Fatback Band, ladies and gentlemen, if you know your hip hop history, the first record to come out on wax, hip hop record, was not from a hip hop group. It was from a funk band called the Fatback Band. It was called King Tim III Personality Jock. Mr. Steve Rifkin is in the building with me right now. This was one of Steve's groups, Mobb Deep, M-O-B-B-D-E-E-P. It's in the building, along with the Wu-Tang Clan and a lot of other great artists. Big Pun, another Loud Record artist. Yes, you had some stuff, Steve.
We had Pun, we had Exhibit, we had the Licks, we had Flex's, the original mixtapes.
That's right. That did extremely well.
We had 3-6 Mafia, we had Project Pat, Gangsta Boo.
Wow. When did you get the Wu? Who brought the Wu to you?
Guy by the name of Trevor Williams. I put the street team together.
Okay.
So my local guy in Detroit sent it to my college radio guy in LA.
Okay.
So I was in New York for my 31st birthday because I was living in LA now.
Okay.
And RZA just showed up. He was Prince Rakeem, and it was the best birthday gift I ever had in my life.
He came to your office?
Came to the office unannounced, everything like that. The reception. I was working at a RCA building. That's what I was going through. And somebody said, "A guy named Prince Rakeem is here." I'm like, "You're kidding me." Right? And he came in, and I was with E. Swift from the Alcoholics. Played the record. I'm like, "What do we have to do?" He goes, "Well, can I bring the clan up?" I'm like, "Yeah, where are they?" They said, "Oh, they're outside." Right? So they come up in an office a quarter of this size.
Okay.
So they come up and they perform the record. Like,
wow.
To the record. So, can you curse on here?
Yeah.
So, I'm listening. E. Swift is listening, and he's like, "You gotta sign this, you gotta sign this." Some guy comes barging in, says, "That's that shit." Walked out, I never saw him again. So I don't know if, I don't know if RZA set me up.
Right.
Or if this kid really worked in the mailroom that just got fired or whatever. To this day, I never saw him again.
Wow. And he just told you that's that shit. And
No, but he ran. We were all in the room. I mean, literally from here to here. I mean, a quarter of the size. And we did the deal 2 weeks later.
Wow. And you just E Swift co-signed and you just knew it. You just knew it. Had you heard anything like that before?
No, don't forget, because I heard Protect Your Neck didn't have a hook. I'm like, how does this record?
Protect Your Neck didn't have a hook? Wow. You weren't afraid to sign 9? How many of them was it?
It was 8 at the time.
8.
Because Capo was away.
Okay.
I was desperate, man. You know, it was like, you know, I wasn't desperate, but, you know, Twister was the first artist on Loud. Then it was the Licks.
Right.
And they both did okay. But I was, you know, since me being from New York, I wanted a New York record.
Right.
And, you know, GZA just, you know, came. Like I said, we did the deal 2 weeks later, and the rest is history.
Wow. That's crazy. Wasn't that in those days, it was a lot of competition. Like you were just telling us off the mic that you and your dad gave Russell his first deal. So there was Def Jam was happening. There was so many things happening. How was it that Loud was trying to keep up with that competition?
So to this day, I don't consider myself an A&R guy. I consider myself a promotion man. So don't forget, I had the street team. Nobody really had a street team.
Yeah, no, nobody had a street team like Loud did.
So, and I owned the name. So
you own the name Street Team?
Yes.
Genius. Okay.
So what I did is, there were 2 guys. One is my partner, my brother Jonathan Rifkin.
Right.
And the other was by the name of Mojo Nicosia, who was working for RCA at the time, but he was come to work with us now.
Right.
And they just went on the road, and they went on the road strong. They went on the road 6 months. And then I remember Outkast was having an album release party somewhere, and I was talking to L.A. and Steve Stout. And I don't remember who the DJ was, whatever, and the Method Man record comes on. M-E-T-H-O-D Man. And everybody just goes straight, and I was like, holy shit, we really have something now.
Right. What's new?
We have this girl, Nikki Heaton, who is from Chicago, Miami. Actually, South Africa, Chicago, Miami. And we found her through the old-fashioned way, but she had a huge YouTube presence.
Okay.
Where she covers with a guitar every rap record possible.
I think I saw her.
Right? White girl, beautiful.
Yeah, I saw her.
And she ended up being this incredible songwriter, incredible producer, and a voice that's golden.
Wow.
So we have her. I have this female MC out of New Orleans called 3D Nazi.
Okay.
I just think, I mean, she's that next one.
Okay.
And then we have a kid out of Philadelphia called Tayyib Ali.
Okay. Philly's always a good breeding ground for talent, ain't it?
Yeah, so, I mean, those 3 are the 3 that I'm truly, truly excited about.
Who brought Pun to you?
Joe.
Joe brought you Pun?
Yeah.
What did you think when the first time you heard? Did he spit for you live or did you hear
No, I'm going to tell you what happened. I was in Chicago with Quincy Jones. I get a phone call from a guy named Mickey Benson.
Yeah, Mickey's here. We love Mickey.
Right? So Mickey goes, I got Joe on the phone. So he puts Joe on the phone. I never met Joe before. I never even really spoke to Joe before.
Right.
He goes, I got this artist, Big Pun. I said, I'm in Chicago. I'll be home tomorrow. You know, I go, let's meet. So he goes, all right, what time? I said, 2 o'clock. So I meet with Joe, and I said, well, I need to meet Pun. He goes, I go, come back. And I was going back to LA to see my kids. I go, come back tomorrow at 11 o'clock because I have a 1 o'clock flight or 1:30 flight. So there was a kid in my office who was my head of A&R by the name of Matty C. And Matty would show up in the office once every 6 weeks. And then when...
I tell the truth.
It's the truth. But I love him to death. But I spoke to him 30 times a day.
Right.
Right? So I got in a little bit late because I had to pack and just... He's already in the office. I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, aren't you seeing Pun? And as he said that, Joe and Pun walk in. I said, you got a deal. I didn't hear...
Oh, shit.
And they said, you can't be bullshitting me. I'm like, if he's here, he's special.
Right.
And then Matty was like saying, well, you know, how are you going to do this? I'm like, it's your job to make the record now.
Right.
And that's...
Wow. And Mobb Deep. Now, we were talking about Juvenile Hell earlier. Mobb Deep was on Def Jam.
Yeah.
How did you get Mobb Deep? Did Def Jam drop him?
Def Jam dropped him.
Oh, shit. Well, Russell kicked himself in the ass about that one plenty of time.
Def Jam dropped him. This woman by the name of Tammy, I forget her last name, brought him up to the office. And they went to the bathroom to smoke a blunt. And the alarm went off. And it was only Havoc, it wasn't P.
Right.
And the fire alarm went off or something like that, and the sprinklers came down, and I was like, all right, same thing. I gotta have. But I heard they had a demo called Patty Shop.
Okay.
Which I loved. And I was like, all right, I gotta do this. And
when the fuck you gonna write a book about loud records, man? When you gotta do a book about loud records, this story is hilarious. Havoc went and smoked a blunt and set off your sprinkler alarm system.
We went in the BMG building. We didn't even have offices yet.
Oh wow, wow, that's crazy. Old Def, I know y'all. I know you and Russell got some shit up y'all sleeve, man. I know that. Whose idea was All Def Digital? How y'all two? Like, all right, let's do something.
Russell.
I bet you here come away. It's gonna be some more rich people shit. Y'all was on a private jet.
It's coming.
Y'all was in. Where was y'all at? Paris. Y'all saw each other.
We in the Hamptons.
Okay. See, RPS.
At a pool party.
Yeah.
So Russell, like, you know, had this deal with YouTube.
Right.
I started managing a kid by the name of Spoken Reasons, who's the biggest black comedian on YouTube. He has over like 1.5 billion views and and 3 million subs. So he was starting it. Then he was going into business with a guy by the name of Brian Robbins, who happens to be my best friend. And Brian directed the show and produced the show with Russell. So
is this the same Brian Robbins TV, Brian Robbins?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he just downplayed that part of Brian Robbins. How many shows have really successful TV shows has Brian had?
I mean, he pretty much put Nickelodeon.
Yeah, and all of that.
Wow.
Yeah, all of that is Brian Robbins. I know,
and the show, all that.
Yeah, and the show, all that,
and
all Brian.
One Tree Hill and Smallville, just
to name a few.
Just to name a few. And Chicago with Quincy Jones. All right, let's go back.
And so they started All Def Digital.
Okay.
Right. And then my thing was, I didn't know the TV and the movie game. I only know music. So I wanted to start this MCN, which stands for Multi-Channel Network, and still put out music and use it as my street team. And like I said, my A&R sauce, you know, and I was going to bring in around 30 to 40 different channels and put it under one umbrella. Right. And then one day, 3 of us are, you know, just talking shit. They said, why don't you come join us? Right. And, you know, like I said, I've known Russell
30 years.
Since I'm 16 years old.
Oh, okay.
You know, when he with the Jimmy Spicer record.
Right.
So, and I was like, and like I said, Brian's been my best friend. Right. So I was like, all right, let's do this.
Let's get together and do something and make it happen. Okay. So when can we expect some stuff from All Def Digital?
We have a lot of stuff now. I mean, Spoken Reasons has a show called Dr. Reasons.
Okay.
You know, and they're just, we're looking for content.
Okay.
All the time.
It's a content-driven world. Yeah. It really is. It really is. That's and I think that's one of the reasons why I just started doing Come On Son on YouTube. You know what I mean? First of all, I wanted to get my point across, and I didn't give a fuck who didn't like it, so I just started doing it. And then I just started realizing, like, it's a content-driven world. Like, I have not done one since, like, last year, and my fan base is going fucking bananas, like, right now. Like, they on my YouTube, they on my Twitter. They're like, when we get another episode of Come On Son? All this fuckery going on, and you ain't doing it. They, like, getting mad at me, so I got to do it now. You got to go back in the basement.
Like, my 14-year-old son, he doesn't even have a TV in his room. But he has his computer, his iPad, and his phone. Right. And he's working all three like he's a DJ. Right. I mean, I don't know what the fuck he's watching. And like you know, and then he'll call me up in between all this, you know, just like you know about this. Like he found me Spoken Reasons. Right. So I mean,
yeah, it's a digital age. Yeah, it's a digital age, and the over-the-top networks are the ones that are winning because everybody, as you know, binge watch. If you don't see something now, you DVR it, or you can watch it on Hulu or Hulu Plus and Netflix. And there's kids that got these new things. That's why Amazon is doing the over-the-top network, and everybody is like, they get one subscription and they share it with their friends. It's the same password, and they don't give a shit. And everybody's just watching. You watch when you want to watch it, how you want to watch it, on your phone and on the train and in school and out school. Kids, they don't watch the TV no more. It's like they got everything.
My oldest son plays college ball.
Right. So, where at?
Long Beach State.
Okay.
So there's a there's a YouTube channel called Hoop Mixtape, and it was about the best high school ball players in the country to music, and it was just all highlights.
Wow.
So he has, if the NBA, I don't know what their exact number is now, the NBA had 1 billion views with Bron, Wade, Melo, CP, you know, with the who's who.
Right.
This kid had 600 million views.
Wow.
With just high school athletes.
Wow.
So it's a whole new thing.
Yeah.
And this is something, right? Well, we had this Taib Ali, which I was talking about earlier, right? We put his record on one of the highlights, right? We're at 3 million views in a matter of 2 months.
Wow.
I mean, so between, you know, so it's, to me, this is like, I'm losing my eyesight because I'm getting old, but I see this better than I see the back of my hand.
Right.
And I to this day, I'm saying this will be the biggest company I ever had.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be huge. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Steve Rifkin. Appreciate you coming by, brother.